Okay, we're here and I'm hoping that you can all hear me. I might actually jump over to YouTube really quick just to see if this is working. And it looks like it might be. So I am going to mute my YouTube and drop your questions in the chat, but know that there's kind of a delay from what you're going to see on the screen until um, I'm sorry, there's kind of a delay from me doing something to it coming up on your screen. So just be aware of that. And I am not going to be looking at the chat live. I'm going to do some stuff and I'll go check the chat. So just be patient with me. All right. This is the StarCraft Create software. It goes with your StarCraft solo machine. I want to apologize for my voice, gained over a cold. So I have always used a Cricut prior to getting my solo in 2021. So if you are also coming from Cricut and you are ever like, I know how to do this in Cricut Design Space, how would I do it in solo? Please, please, please ask me. I would love to try to help you with those questions. So, one question I did get from our last session was how to contour. So, contour is a function in Design Space, and it allows you to turn on and off different elements. I'm just going to shift my screen because I do know that when I go to open the library, it doesn't show on screen unless I have it kind of a split screen like this. Oops, let's live chat. Okay. Sorry, doing multiple things. Okay, let's come back over here. So if I go to the library, which to access that, you just click on this button that looks to me like a couple little mountains and a sun. So let's click on that. And that's going to open up our library. I do like that you can type in a word up here and search the library. You can switch between having a list like this that gives you some information or just the images, and this little slider, I can slide it so they're tiny or make them so they're big. Okay, so I'm going to use this gear. I'm just going to plop a few different things in there. Make sure you check out the library because there are some nice shapes in there. And you even get some kind of design elements too. Let's pop a few of these in just so that we have stuff to play with. I mean, here, perfectly free spider and a spider web. They do have things broken down by different categories. Then, if you go on your computer where this library is stored, you can then make folders for your own SVG files. So these are different SVG files that I've saved from other places, and then I just made little folders for each one so that I could plop things in there. This is so nice because now I don't have to upload each file. I can download my SVG files and open them up and then just drag and drop on my computer without even going through the system or the Create software. So you can see here's a bunch of different beachy ones that I have downloaded from various resources. Let's plop one of those in. Okay. I don't see any comments yet, but if you have them, please drop them. Okay. I am going to zoom in. To zoom in, it's this magnifying glass, and then there's a slider bar up here. And then I can click on the arrow to go back to my different selections. So in Cricut, we would be able to click on this design and go contour and fill in that hole if we didn't want it to cut. I'm going to hold my shift key so that I can scale that up. So in Create, we're going to click on the Shape tool. And this is going to make us, or this is going to allow us to edit the nodes. And you can see that it says that in that little pop-up. So the nodes are those little squares. That's basically every turning point or pivot point in the design. So now I could click on this one, and if I just hit delete on my keyboard, boom, it's gone. So how is that different from contour? Well, in contour, if I wanted to bring it back later, I could undo that by going back into contour. So there's the difference. So let's say on, oops, my screen just got weird. It's probably because I'm doing a demo. The other thing that I use contour for in Design Space is to create layers. So how I would do that if I do a copy and paste. So I'm going to go Control C and Control V. Let's get rid of this guy. I don't need him anymore. And there's a couple different ways. You could either do the edit nodes like we did, or I have also used the break apart function. Ooh, let's zoom back out. And if you do break apart, oh, no, it's not finding it. That size. Sorry. I think because I'm in demo mode, my screen is not showing all the options, which is unfortunate. So if I right click on this, there would be a break apart, and that literally breaks everything. And then I could put all these like inner pieces on their own layer. I could also go up to path and use the break apart. I'm going to jump over to the different comments section, see if there's anything that people are dropping in there for comments. Nothing. At least say hi to me. Drop me a hello. Can you hear me? I guess I should make sure of that. Can you hear me? Okay. I'm going to just look at my software. Yep, it says my audio is working. Okay. So talk to me, people. So those are a couple ways that you could use the contour or do the contour function in Create. Okay. So let me know what questions you have, and I can work on trying to address those. Let me do this, see if I can do this and do a side by side so I can see the chat and what you want to learn all at the same time. I plan on doing more videos on contour, break apart, how to cut something in half for like a larger than that project. I am going to wish there was a way I could pause this because my screen is getting all wonky. I'm going to restart the software just to see if that helps. Because it's like all my buttons disappeared, and I don't know if that's because I'm streaming or what. Okay, so this is my demo. So let's go back to what we were doing with some shapes. I'm just going to go drop in some shapes again. Oh, that's why I wanted that and that. Okay. So if I take this, I'm holding my shift key in order to resize that. And then if I right click, there we go. I can say break apart. And you see how that gave me all the individual little pieces? If I go over here to my layers panel, I can click on this arrow and it's showing each and every piece individual. If you've ever purchased a SVG file and everything is individual, then somebody might have been doing something like this. But now what I could do is click on the circle and go over to the paint palette and I can make that yellow. And let's see, I could take this part. I'm just making this up. And now I could change these. And if I wanted to change every other one, I'm just holding my shift key and clicking on every other. Oh, that's unfortunate that every other doesn't really work out number wise. Okay, we'll just do this. So if I make these orange, I can go okay. You can see it changed it over here. Now if I want to put those together on one layer, I can use path and union. Union is kind of like weld, but now I can even go and turn that one off. And you can see that it's giving me the option to do that. I could even pick things from here and hold my shift key. Whoops. And keep going, holding my shift key. And say union. And now all of those are going to be on one layer. And I could change the color of that. And then if I turn that off, you can see just that piece is left. And actually what it did was made that base scalloped circle a solid piece. Okay. So then if I was creating this design, I would then layer the yellow on top of it. You know what? This kind of looks like a flower, so I want to change that. Let's go pink. I mean, this is all just for pretend, but so then I can turn on these up on top. Now, if you click on any one of these, you're going to be clicking on the individual layer. So what you want to do, if you want them all to move around together, is select everything and then group it. Because now, if I hold my shift key, I can resize and move the whole thing together. So hold your shift key in order to adjust things proportionally. If you don't hold your shift key, you can stretch things any which way you want. To contour things, you can either use the shape tool so that you can click on the nodes and delete them. Here's another thing. With these inner nodes, see how they have the little handles here? I could take these handles and play with them. And you see how I'm able to change that shape? So that's kind of fun too. Or I can just click on that and go delete and start to delete those, and now I have a totally different shape. If I wanted to cut this design in half, yes, I could put a shape in there and use the path back minus front, which is very similar to using subtract in Design Space. Or there is a thing called a stencil bridge, and this is showing the size of it. So if I start to preview it, you can see the size. So I could make that bigger, and that's the size. Okay, so let's come back down. So if I put my cursor right here and hold my shift key, I can make a straight cut right through there. So that's something you can't do in Design Space. I'm just gonna get rid of these. If I wanted to cut that yellow circle out of the scalloped pink piece, I'm going to hold my shift key, and the yellow piece is on the front. So when I say path, I'm going to say back, the back piece, minus what's in front. You see how I cut that circle right through. That's the same thing as subtract, which is under the combine feature. What else? I really wanted to answer some of your questions, so make sure you're dropping those into the chat. And if I don't answer your question now, I will do a follow-up on it. There's all kinds of shapes in here too. I mean, yes, you can go to the library and get your shapes, but you can also right click here and get a rectangle, a rounded rectangle, circle, triangle, polygon, star, or spiral. Oh, I just thought of something I wanted to show you. Okay. I did this the other day. I kind of made an oval. And I thought this was kind of cool. Let's get rid of this because we're moving on. Okay, so if I right click on this and do a copy and paste, Okay, so I'm going to stretch this one around so that it's kind of this wonkier circle. And I'm going to change the color just so you can see what's going on. Okay, so the green one is on top. And actually, that's good. Okay. So if I select both of these and say path, back minus front, I kind of made a smiley face. This is how you could create your own jack-o'-lantern faces. So let's go back here and go to the triangle. Then let's go to circles. And then I'm going to put a smaller one in. I'm just changing the color so that we can see it. So now if I put that like this, I can select both of those and say path back minus front. Then I can do a copy and paste. And I mean, I could leave it like that, or I could go over to this side panel here and let's click on the position and size. There's a flip horizontal. So that's kind of a cute little pumpkin. If I wanted to kind of stretch this more, I could. So think about some things that are just kind of basic shapes to get started playing with things. I even did this the other day. Okay, I'm going to zoom back in. I am going to click on my type tool, which is this T with the squares around it. And I'm going to type in the word spooky. Now I am going to take spooky and I'm going to go find a font that I like. So let's click on this text over here. When you find a font that you like, 'cause if you're like me, you have downloaded and installed a gabillion fonts. Once you find ones that you like or you want to come back to over and over again, hit this red heart to favorite them. Then you can filter just your favorites. And that makes your life so much easier for doing things like this. That could be kind of cool. But I want to see some other ones. Nope, that's the one I want to use. Okay. So let's again make this a different color just so we can visually see what's going on. I like to do this just so I can see things, because otherwise you're doing black on black and that's hard to see. And I also I'm not a big fan of neon colors. So when it's something that I'm using just for a design element, I tend to just use a bright neon color because then it helps me remember that I'm just using that to design. I don't really want that as a part of the finished look. So if I just grab this without my shift key, see how I can kind of stretch it? That's kind of fun. Okay, so if I go up to effects, I am going to try the bridge wrap. Yep, that's the one I want. So you can see this is giving me curvatures. So I want to change my top offset so that it curves that way, kind of like my smile does, and my top offset, nope, I want to go the other way. So while this is not going to match it up exactly, it is giving me a little bit of that curve. And the reason I can see what's going on is I got that auto preview turned on. So I'm going to click OK. So that got me started in kind of getting this, how I wanted it. But I'm still going to have to play with it a little bit. What I'm going to do is get the S and the Y basically so that they touch the top and bottom. Then I am going to right click on the word spooky and say ungroup because I want each letter to be separate. Then I can stretch each one of them. And again, what I'm doing is making sure that it touches or crosses through the top and the bottom of this pumpkin face I made, or pumpkin smile. So I'm just manually stretching them. And that one I think just needs to go up a little higher. All right. So now, if I take all the spooky letters, hold my shift key so I can click on all of those, and then say path union because I want to join them so they're one thing. So you can see over here it's one thing. Now if I select this and say path back minus front, see how I cut the word spooky right out of the face or the mouth? Come on, I think that's cute. So now if I took this, I could do a copy paste. And isn't that a cute pumpkin idea? All right, I'm going to try to look at questions and comments and see if you guys have anything that you've dropped in there. Barbara says, I'm late getting here. Can you show me how to load files that I already have on my computer? Let's see if I can do that. This involves me doing a different screen share. So hopefully I can figure that out. One moment, please. Okay. So on my desktop, I have a shortcut for my Create software. So if I go in there, under My Designs, I just started creating folders. So let's say, okay, I do have some designs in here that I was gonna bring in. So this is a cake topper, and this one's popcorn. So if I go back here, I could make a folder for it and drop things in, or I could go where I have my design saved and then just slide it over. And by slide it over, let me see if I can find one. Yeah, let's just do this. So I could literally just open another file folder. I'm hoping you can see all this. I don't want to bop back and forth too much from the questions and answers. Okay, so here's where I have my SVGs downloaded that I saved. Then I'm going to go again to my desktop, to my StarCraft Create shortcut, and then under my designs, here's all my SVG files. So if I just click on these, and I'm holding my shift key so I can click on multiples, and then I'm just moving them into create. So then, let's see if we can find those. So if I go under my library now, under my designs, I might have to refresh my screen in order for them to come in and show up. Let's see. But here you can see some of the other ones that I had in that file. Oh, here. Let's do this reload. Oh, here it is. The popcorn right here. Here's the shaker. Oh, you might not be able to see this. Okay, sorry. I got all excited. So once I was in the library, I wasn't seeing it right away under my designs. So I hit this little refresh button here, and then those showed up. So it's that easy. I mean, I didn't have to upload or anything. Just drag and drop. If that wasn't clear, let me know, and I can maybe do a video on that. How do you get the zoom slider that was at the upper left-hand corner? So right here, this magnifying glass is the zoom tool. So when I click on that, that activates that slider so that I can slide in and slide out. And don't slide too fast because it can make you seasick. All right, let's see what other questions we have. That is not what I wanted to do. What other questions do you have? Let me know. The other thing with both of these designs, personally, I would select them all and then go path union. This will keep all of it together. You could group it, but union is going to hold that placement and position so that this comes in as an SVG. And, oh, there's another one thing I could do. Okay, if I turn this one off, and if I select all of this and say path union, I can just click on this button up here that says export, and it allows me to go place this in a folder. I told it go to this folder, and I can just call this pumpkin face. And you can see it's saved as a SVG file. And that's it. Now I can go grab that SVG and I can give it as a freebie on my site. Then I can turn on this one. Excuse me, cold. Export that, and this is spooky. That's it. Now they're SVG files. I mean, that's how easy it is. All right, jumping back to the comments for a sec. Oh yeah, make sure you do a full screen. And make sure you look at your settings to see like if you're capturing the whole screen. All right. What other questions do you have? It's kind of funny because I'm now watching what you're seeing and I'm able to see the delay. Okay. Um, I like just kind of free designing some things, and sometimes, like, I'll go on Google for kind of inspiration, so to speak. So, for example, let's see if this works. Um, so, if I went on Google and went pumpkin face, like, oh, okay, here's some different ideas. I could design that. I do the same smiley and then put some squares in there. So sometimes that's a way for you to kind of see what you could make. Um, I'm going to do a copy and paste of this. And I'm going to just turn off some of these other guys. Hold my shift key and stretch this out. And now I'm going to do break apart because I want to make each one of these separate so I could edit this design down here. So if I wanted to make some teeth, I could do that. And click on this. Again, I'm going to do my little trick of making it a bright color so I can see it and start to kind of play with it and just do a copy and a paste. And I'm just using the little rotator. The nice thing about doing teeth like this is they don't have to be perfect because, I mean, think of this like how you would if you were carving a pumpkin. These wouldn't all be perfect unless you're that good, which I'm not. Um, I was never good at carving pumpkins. Now this one, instead of rotating it, I'm going to go to my size and position and just flip it horizontally, which basically rotated it. Now I'm going to click on all of the green teeth, holding down my shift key and say path union. Then I can select everything and use path, back minus front. And there you go. Let's jump back over and see if we have any comments. Any more comments? I got 4 people watching. Give me some questions. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep playing like I am. And for me, the Halloween is kind of timely, so that's why I was going with making some pumpkin faces. So look for inspiration and then see what you can design. And you can use things from the library. I used, let me see if I can find it. Under weather, there's this raindrop, and I use this as the top for a candle, for the flame of a candle. And then I think I use a rounded rectangle. Yeah. So if you wanted to do a birthday cake design, you could totally make birthday candles. Okay, object, path union, that's what I want to do. Okay. Let's turn those off. Okay, so this birthday candle, let's say I wanted to, if I make the flame an orange, this is what happens if I don't have questions. I just start playing. And let's make the candle blue. Now I could select all of this, and under effects, there's a shadow layer. And you can see it put that little shadow around there, but I can use this slider. I can use the slider to make the shadow bigger or smaller. So right there is kind of nice. And I'm going to say blackout shadow because actually I don't think I need to because they're touching. But here's a cool thing. I can even change the color of the shadow right in here. So if I'm like, okay, I know I want it to be black, boom. Isn't that cute? I mean, simple, easy birthday candle. When I've Okay, next question is, when I have objects off the design screen over on the right, I can't take the slider at the bottom, move over to that area. So yeah, it locks you into that 12 by 12 position. I thought there was a matte screen. One moment, please, while I check. Oh, under view. View actual size. Show grid. Oh, this is where I can turn the grid on and off. Snap to. Nope. I know there was a place where you could change the mat size. And now I can't find it. I'm sorry. Window? Workspace. Nope. Mat size. Haha. Okay, under cutter, mat size. If I were to change the mat size to 12 by 24, now I can see more area. So anything that you put over here is going to be off mat. So it's trying to, only allow you to see what's on your mat. So in order to see what's off the mat, you would have to zoom way out because it's only going to cut what's on the mat. Are these designs for vinyl only? What if you want to print them? You could print then cut. Let me change my mat back because otherwise I am going to forget and leave it on this mat, and then I won't have the right mat size. One moment, please. Okay. So for print then cut, I actually did a project like that. It's a video about a dinosaur. It's an animated card. Let me try to find something that would be a good print then cut. Here we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay. So if I had this design in here, and let's find it on the layers panel. There it is. the map of the USA. So when you okay, it's on this option of style that we would change things. So this is saying right now it's a cut. So if I want this to be print then cut, and this is just what prints, then I change it here. This is how I would do this project first. I wouldn't even worry about Hawaii and Alaska right now. I would take this whole design and under effects, add an offset. And I'm just going to make it itty bitty and change the color to white. Okay. Now the offset, if I can find it, oh, come on. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is the offset shadow layer. So I'm going to just double click on that and I'm going to rename it. USA offset. Okay, so that's helping me just remember what this is. So I'm going to put this as this is the print and cut, the cut portion. Then I can change all of this to the print and cut print only. That's all you have to do. Because now it's going to print all of the states and then just cut the outline. And if I click create, print then cut, it's showing me start scan. Nope. And it's not showing up because I don't have mine turned on. But if I went print, it would print that. So yeah, that's how you do that. If you have more questions for print then cut or how to change one of these designs, go take a look at my animated dinosaur card that I did. I'll go try to find the link and find that. Let me go find that for you. Wow, if I could type today, it would be helpful. And my videos. Really, I know it's here. You can see as I'm scrolling through my videos, I've done some other comparing a Cricut function to a solo StarCraft Create software function. So go take a look at those. Here's another one, adding pattern to your text. Here is the animated dinosaur. So I'm just gonna grab that link and pop it into the comments. All right, any other questions? We've been going for a little over 40 minutes. If you have questions, please, please, please drop them in the comments. Send me a message. I want to know what you're struggling with and what you want to learn. I'm going to open another file just to show you something. Open project. Once you play with the software, here's some of the stuff you can do. I made these pumpkins all by putting in a circle, stretch it to an oval, and then playing around with the different functions. This stem was, it was just a rectangle that I worked with until I got it how I wanted it. And this leaf was actually in one of these swirls. It is this one. The pumpkins look great. Thank you. I actually made one of them into a freebie SVG. This one without the background. I have it on my site as a freebie SVG. And I mean, really, it just took some playing around. So what I did was I started with kind of an oval, and then I did a copy and a paste. And then, okay, so if I make this one orange, so you can see it, let's zoom in. Okay, so then when I click on this one, I can move it out here, but also I can do some stretchy to kind of distort it and make it curve out more like that. So I just literally played around with this until I got something that I liked. Okay, so once I got it to kind of, yeah, I think I did more like that. So now what I did is I did effects and did an offset around this. And I might make this one a little bigger. So now let's take that offset and I'm going to make it a funky color. Okay, so it is the furthest back thing. So now if I hold my shift key and grab these two, I can say path, and I want the front piece, which is the black, out of this selection, minus the funky green. And you see how that made that next section for the pumpkin? Then I can click on this and use the eyedropper and just say make it the same color. Then I believe I did this and took some of the nodes and did some stretching. Or I might have just stretched it like this. I think I took this one and like brought it in more. There we go. And I just played with it until I was happy with it. And then I was like, okay, I like that. And then I did a copy and a paste and flipped it to make it the other side. And then I did that same thing again. Barbara, you asked if I have a video that explains the very basics of getting started with the solo. I have a whole playlist for StarCraft Solo. that starts from um, my first, when I got it out of the box, and then how I got started. Um, I'm going to grab that. So if you go under my playlist, and then I show you just playing with shapes, testing with the pen. I made a card. I did iron on vinyl on a shirt, making a layered design a couple different ways. Stickers, another shirt. Here's the dinosaur card. So yeah, I've done a few different videos, and when I did started doing Cricut videos, I would ask people, um, what you want to learn. Because if people want to learn how to make stickers, like, okay, I'll do a sticker video. But if you want to learn how to make rhinestone designs, okay, I'll do that. And yes, you can make rhinestone designs. So let me grab, I'm just going to grab this pumpkin and I'm going to make a copy of it and put it here. Oh, I like the way this pumpkin turned out. If you haven't seen my pumpkin video where I use this exact design with some puffed vinyl, it's probably the first thing on my YouTube page right now because I just made the shirt yesterday. Go check that out. So cool. Okay, so if you're into rhinestones, I am going to expand this and just turn off the black. So if I click on this design, I've never done this before, but there's a rhinestone button. So if I click, I want circle rhinestones, the stone size, the stone spacing, fill shape with stones, in preview, it would fill it. So what if I made the stone spacing smaller? Or the stone size? I don't know what size standard stones are. See how it's filling the shape? That's kind of fun. Let's say 2 millimeter. Okay, so it's giving me some stone sizes up here. Okay. So let's do that. Stone spacing. Ooh. Let's do a preview there. Okay. Now come on, is that cool? It just set up a template to make a rhinestone pattern. I could even save this just like this and cut this out of a holographic vinyl and it would look like rhinestones. So yeah, that's fun. Are you able to search the font list by typing the name or do you have to use the drop down? Good question. Let's try that. I'm going to click OK because I'm kind of liking that rhinestone look. I might have to save that as a SVG. Type tool. This is a test. If I go here and go to my text, I'm on favorites right now. If I go all and let's type in, yeah, if I just started typing I love glitter, it jumped right to that. So if you know the name of the font, you can totally do that. And S6 and S10 are common rhinestone sizes. Okay, I might have to make this pumpkin in a rhinestone design because that was kind of fun. And since I don't do rhinestones myself, um, cutting it from a holographic vinyl would be really, really cool because I know I do have like a shimmery holographic. All right. See, this is why I like talking to other people. Sometimes I get ideas and get inspired. So we are going on an hour now for this. If you don't have any other questions, I might end this, but please, please, please drop me your questions. I hope you learned something new. If you want my free pumpkin SVG file, head over to my site, shawnmosch.com. And if you scroll to the bottom, there's a banner that's signing up for my newsletter. I added a link to download the SVG file there. Also, check out my YouTube channel because I do a whole video on the process. And what else? Follow me. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, click that button and subscribe. Um, Marissa, I'm glad you liked this because I still feel like I'm learning the StarCraft solo. And I know it's because I came from cricket. So my brain thinks cricket. But once you start to learn it, I think the things that you can do with this are amazing. And just the fact that we can export things as SVG files is amazing. Um, it's an incredible software. And when you head over to my site, sign up for my newsletter, but also if you get the little pop up about an event that I'm going to be in, sign up for it because even though it's a cricket event, most of the projects are going to give you a free file. So then you're going to get a whole collection of free SVG files. Will I be doing these every Saturday morning? I was thinking about doing that. Um, and Barbara, I might do it again next Saturday if people have enough interest. I will not be doing it 2 weeks from now because I will be in Fargo, North Dakota at Heat Transfer Warehouse offices, and I will be teaching an in-person cricket class there. So, yeah, I do want to do more of these when people have questions. Um, if if people don't have questions, obviously I'm not going to do them. But if you like them and you want more of this, let me know. And join my Facebook group, follow me on social media, and then you'll see when I'm going to be doing them again. Um, so, thank you all for joining me. I do have, like I said, my playlist here on YouTube. And then if you go to my site, shawnmosch.com, and let's just go here. So if you scroll all the way down here, here's my free SVG file. If you go under Shop, SVGs, I made all of these SVGs in the Create software. And you can purchase any of these or, you know what, be inspired by me and you could probably figure out how to make some of these yourself. You can also search the word solo and you're going to find my page with the StarCraft solo tips and tricks. And this was my kind of intro StarCraft solo post where I'm showing it as an alternative to cricket. And this DIY birthday, I did a lot of these designs in the solo. So make sure to check those out too. Follow me on social media and let me know what you want to learn. You typed up a word and changed the font style, but how can I move the word around on the screen? Okay, let's go back over here. Disregard previous comment, I figured out. All right, I was just going to say, This is what happens to me a lot is I'll be working on something, I click here, and then I'm like, shoot, I can't click on it. Go back up and hit that arrow button, and then you should be able to move it around. All right. Um, if you drop any questions after I sign off, I'll try to come back and answer those. But I hope this was fun and that you enjoyed it and you learned something new. So, thanks everyone.